PC in hand, blank paper and pen can only mean one thing. We have a party to plan. So this Sunday, we are hosting our family Easter get-together. I adore Easter. I love the colors, I love the flowers, I love the chocolate, I love the pastels, I love the food. Let's get to work. So if you've never seen this little system before, what I like to do is I'll take a piece of paper and fold it in thirds, vertically like so. So I've got 3 columns right here. God, I can't believe it's already Easter 2026. This is wild. I started this YouTube channel Easter last year. I think Easter Sunday was when the first video came out. So hard to believe we've been doing this for almost an entire year. Kind of crazy. Obviously, peek behind the fourth wall. It's not actually Easter weekend right now, but I will be out of town on actual Easter, and I know you guys are gonna be looking for recipes and Tablescape ideas and all this kind of stuff for your own functions. So if I'm doing all of that stuff anyway, if I'm working through all those recipes anyway, if I'm setting the table anyway, I might as well have people here to enjoy it. That's kind of my philosophy on this. And my family has gotten pretty accustomed to celebrating holidays like 3 weeks early at this point. So here is what is on the menu for this weekend. In my first column right here, this is my menu. I make a list of all the recipes we're gonna be working through. So for the main course, we're doing a rack of lamb. And we're gonna do like an herb butter to slather all over the lamb as it roasts in the oven. We are doing a ham. I'm ordering one from Honey Baked, so not really much to do there. Scallop potatoes. And then this is gonna be a bit of an experiment, but over the weekend in Austin, I had a really fabulous baked orzo at Abba, which is a Mediterranean restaurant there. I thought it'd make for a really nice holiday side dish. So we're gonna try out a baked orzo today as like a mac and cheese alternative. Next up, I feel like you cannot have Easter without carrots. So we're gonna do some whole glazed carrots, chimichurri to go with the lamb. We're gonna do my spring pea salad with a bacon fat vinaigrette. I love this recipe. I bring it back once a year around this time. It's kind of a modern take on like a pea salad with the bacon and the cheese cubes and the onion. It's so fabulous. So we'll work through that too. Rolls, I use frozen rolls, sue me. Then we are going to do cocktail-wise. We'll set up a full bar, but I like to do, 1 batch cocktail per event. And we're gonna do a spiked Arnold Palmer. It feels kind of springtime. And then lastly for dessert, lemon meringue pie. Very excited about that. So that is the menu. Oh, hang on. There's a needlepoint drop happening at 11 a.m. that I really want to be locked in for. So give me a second and we'll come back. All right, so in this middle column here, my handwriting looks terrible today, but this is going to be our grocery list. So what I'll do is I'm gonna go down the list recipe by recipe. And what I'm thinking about is what ingredients for these things do I have on hand versus what do I need to go ahead and buy? Obviously, I need a rack of lamb. I'm not gonna subject y'all to listening to me just spout out my individual grocery list, so we're gonna kind of breeze through this. Good on lemons. I've got the carrots, I've got the potatoes, oranges, and what else goes in that recipe? So in this third column here, this is my game plan. This is kind of where the work and the thought really happens. My rule with big parties like this is I don't really do anything more than 2 days out. Today's Friday, so I'm gonna do some work tonight. We'll do some work on Saturday, and then some things are gonna have to happen, day of the party. So tonight, I think tonight it's gonna be all about the herb butters and the chimichurri. We also are doing these egg butter molds. I'll show you in a second. But things to think about that you can prep like 2 days out. There's some like vegetable chopping and things like that you could do. Sauces, marinades, condiments, accompaniments, compound butters. Things of that nature could all be done a couple of days in advance. I could also probably do the pie tonight if I've got time. That's probably all I can really do. Saturday is gonna be the big prep day. So we're gonna prep our carrots. We're gonna pre-batch the Arnold Palmers. We're gonna make the pie if we don't get to it tonight. What else? Lamb with the herb butter, it's gonna get roasted day of. Ham, all I have to do is like set that out in the morning. Scalloped potatoes. I like to do potato dishes day of if I can help it. Baked orzo is going to be a day of thing also. With my spring pea salad, let's take a look at that recipe and like see if there are ways to do that one in advance. Me going to Substack to look up my own recipe. I think with the peas, I can go ahead and blanch them. I'm going to blanch them. Let's blanch them tomorrow. Then that way, all I have to do as far as like assembly for the pea salad is to make the vinaigrette and then just like toss everything together. I can pre-slice the shallots. So with that said, then let's definitely do the pie tonight. And I'll do the meringue on Sunday morning. I could also probably assemble the orzo and then bake it on Sunday morning as well. That one's going to be kind of an experiment because we're testing, like that's a new one that we're testing and serving at this function. My family doesn't care. Okay, so we'll see about that. And then Sunday in the morning, we got to pull out the rolls. We got to pull out butter to soften. Then from there, we're going to pull out the ham, bake the orzo, assemble the carrots, assemble the salad, roast the lamb, and then torch the pie. So as we kind of get down to the wire here, some of these things might change order. I might mix some of these things. You're not stuck to any of this. This is just to give you an idea. The goal really is by the time Friday night comes around, Saturday prep day comes around, and party day comes around, you've got a really clear list of what needs to get done at roughly what time. So, looking pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and fill out a grocery order right now, try and pick that up later this afternoon. I've also gotta go talk to my guy about flowers. Okay, it's gonna be a really, really great lunch. I'm very excited about this. We're back. Okay, quick grocery haul time. Here's all of my herbs. This is gonna be for our chimichurri and the herb butter for the lamb, snow peas for the pea salad, oranges for the carrots, and plus an extra one for cocktails. Beautiful piece of ginger. We have some shallots for the gratin as well as the pea salad. Orzo. This is our pancetta for the pea salad. This is half a pound here. If you can get your hands on pancetta that's like cut like at the deli, that's really, really nice here. And get it cut nice and thick. Then here's our dairy bag. So, Cabot sharp cheddar, whole bunch of salted butter, beautiful hunk of Gruyere, and some heavy cream for the scalloped potatoes. And then right here is 2 Frenched racks of lamb. Feeding like 15 people, because there's like 17 coming, but 2 of them are like my nephews. They're not really gonna eat lamb. Well, Augie might eat lamb. So I need a lot of food. And graham crackers. We're gonna do a graham cracker pretzel crust on the lemon meringue pie. Oh, I did also grab, see, this holiday, I just can't help myself. I picked up, a chocolate bunny to go to everyone's place settings. So everyone can leave with a chocolate bunny. I did those pretty chocolate eggs last year, and no one really took them because they weren't like wrapped up, you know? So I figured this is a little more like, oh, you can just pop this in your bag before you leave and take your bunny with you. Then I did get just some cute little paper Easter napkins and some little matching paper plates for dessert. I also got these chocolate robin's eggs. They're all tied up so pretty, but they are filled with like a salted caramel filling. I thought maybe just these out in the cute little carton could be so fabulous on the dessert table. And then this I ordered, but this is in fact a wooden butter mold, and we're gonna make our own pretty egg-shaped butter. Because I'm hosting Easter early this year, the lamb butter that I normally buy at the store isn't there yet, so we're gonna make our own. The directions say to pop this in the freezer for like 30 to 40 minutes before you fill it, so we're gonna do that. As I mentioned, the frozen peas. These are from Sides Pea Farm, locally grown here in Texas. These can go in the freezer. I'm gonna get all this put away, and I'll see you this evening. Well, good evening. Fancy seeing you here. Friday night, the week is winding down, but baby, we are winding up. because we're gonna start preparing for this Easter lunch. So on the list for this evening, I'm really calling this like food processor night. We're gonna get some use out of the food processor. We're gonna start with the lemon meringue pie. I'm gonna do everything but the meringue topping. We'll take care of that on Sunday. So lemon meringue pie, and then we're gonna use the food processor again for the herb butters and the chimichurri. And those are kind of the big goals. I am also softening some butter over there for our little egg butter molds, but if we don't get to those tonight, we'll do them tomorrow. It's not like that big of a deal. So away we go. So for the lemon meringue pie, I'm kind of doing a riff on the Atlantic Beach pie. I have this recipe published on Substack. Got this recipe out of a recipe booklet from Poppin' Dutch, which is a sandwich shop in Provincetown, Massachusetts. And during COVID, they were selling these little recipe booklets, so I bought one to support, and I love this pie. I made it so many times. What we're gonna do is do a bit of a riff on the crust. So in that recipe, you do a Ritz cracker crust, like a really salty kind of thing. This time, we're gonna do a combination graham cracker and pretzel crust. I think that's gonna be really delicious. And then we'll just make the filling as is, because I think it's a really nice, like incredibly simple, all-purpose lemon filling that's pretty simple. So we're gonna preheat the oven to 350 degrees to get us started. And then we're gonna work on Mr. Crust. Here we go. This is 1 stick of butter. Alrighty, so in my food processor, I fully thought these were like normal graham crackers, but they're like Teddy Grahams, same thing. And we got some pretzel steaks. All right, it's a little, oh my God. It's a little tricky to actually measure, but we're gonna need about 1.5 cups of each. There's our kind of heaping 1 cup of the pretzels. Then our graham crackers. I like the kind of sweet salty thing. Okay, 3 tablespoons of sugar. We're gonna kind of pulse these together. All right, then this is 1/2 cup, so 1 stick of softened butter. Then I'm just gonna pulse this together just to get the butter incorporated. Yeah, get our blade out of the way. Oh yeah. See how we have like a nice kind of coarse sand? It holds together when you press. Into our pie dish. Then I'm taking my 1 cup measure from before and just using that to press everything nice and flat up against the bottom. And you can use the corner of your measuring cup to get like right there into the corners of the pie dish. Any kind of sparse areas, take some from the sides and kind of, you know, spackle it on. I'm by no means a pie perfectionist, so my pies tend to look kind of rough and ready, but this is a really great base pie recipe for like a standard lemon filling. Usually I just serve this one with whipped cream, but we're gonna do a torched meringue topping instead. I think it'll be great. Okay, happy with that. Oven is still preheating. All right, oven just beeped, so this is gonna go in for like 10 to 15 minutes. In the meantime, we're gonna work on the lemon filling. All right, grabbing all my ingredients here. Had to dig, but I found one. Yes, yes. First thing we need is 4 egg yolks, and I'm gonna hang on to the whites for the meringue. So I'm straining them into a separate little container right here. See if I can do this without breaking any yolks. Feels unlikely. 2 for 2. We got it. It's 3. And 4. Oh my God, we did it. And we will save these egg whites for the meringue. All right, next up in our filling is 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. What's not to love? Okay. The OG recipe calls for the zest of 1 lemon. I'm gonna double that and do 2. Gorgeous. Next is 1/2 cup of lemon juice. See what we get out of these 2 lemons and if we need a 3rd. There we go, 1/2 cup. For me today, that was 4 lemons. In that goes. That's it. So I'm gonna whisk all this together. All right, perfecto. Let's go check on the crust. Hello, crust is looking gorge, nice and toasty. I'm gonna set this aside to cool. All right, crust looks lovely. If you need to, take your same measuring cup and just kind of reset everybody. Get your corners nice and tight again. Sometimes these things will kind of puff up, you know, on the edges or in the middle a little bit. So don't be afraid to nudge it back into place gently. And we're gonna let this cool before we add the filling. So, good time to clean up. Okay, dolls, cleaned up. I've also aproned up. I also have washed our herbs for all of our different uses. We have parsley, chives, mint, and dill. I'm gonna set these aside to kind of air dry for a sec. That's fine. And let's get this pie situated. Yay! All right, so our crust has cooled completely. You can see it's crunchy. There's two types of peanut butter, baby. Creamy and crunchy. Okay. Lemon filling. Every bit of this. Fab. I love these deep dish pie crusts for that reason. This goes back into the same 350-degree oven for about 15 minutes. We want to bake this just until the edges are set, but there's still a slight wobble in the center. So I'll show you here in a minute. Okay, pie is in the oven. I'm thinking we can do the herb butter in the meantime, so that's next. All right, food processor has been cleaned out. It's getting a workout this evening. Love that. Here, this is dirty. This can go back. With herb butters, I don't have like much of a rhyme or a reason. Just kind of usually pair my go-to combo, which is parsley, dill, and chives. The mint is gonna go in the chimichurri. I think mint and lamb. Match made in heaven. But here we go. Okay. So, big handful of chives. Same with the parsley. Actually, I don't think I want dill. Yeah, I do. I do want dill in the butter. Dill, and I have some fresh thyme as well. I know rosemary is probably more typical for red meat like lamb, but I have never been a rosemary fan. I just think it's like you put rosemary in something and then all of a sudden everything tastes like rosemary. So, a couple sprigs of fresh thyme. Try to keep the woody parts out. One of these days, you guys, I'm gonna do an herb garden, I swear. One of these days. All right, lid it on. And I'm just gonna pulse this a few times to start chopping up those herbs, like so. Then in goes all of our butter. Using the equivalent of 2 sticks. It's, you know, pretty soft, but not totally room temperature yet. Same deal, lid on. Oh my gosh, we forgot the garlic. Of course we did. 2 cloves. While we're at it, let's do some black pepper in here. A little extra salt. Now I'm happy. Beautiful. Look at this gorgeous, bright green color. All right. Slip the blade out. So good. Oh my gosh, it looks like guacamole. I love it. Into a little container. This slathered all over 2 racks of lamb on Sunday. It's gonna be good. Glamorous. In the fridge for later. Okay, it's the best time, which means we get to cross things off the list. Herb butter, donezo. Our pie has just come out of the oven. This baked for about 14 minutes at 350. I'm gonna show you what to look out for here. So, if I grab the edge and kind of shake, you see how we're looking still pretty jiggly there in the center, but it's not liquidy. There's no sloshing, just a nice tight jiggle. Okay, we're gonna let this cool completely, wrap in plastic, stash in the fridge. It'll be totally fine until Sunday. And that's one major thing out of the way. Resetting the food processor for the 3rd and final time this evening for our chimichurri. So we have our herbs. I put Calabrian chili in mine, so I've got that. Plenty of good olive oil, garlic, And then vinegar is a big component of a chimichurri. And I want to use a special one that I brought back from France, but I'm undecided. So our two options are this tarragon vinegar, which I think might play well with kind of the herbiness of everything, or this smoked vinegar, which I know I really love. So we're gonna do a tasting. We're gonna be ridiculous about it and get little tasting bowls. Tarragon vinegar behind door number 1, and our smoked vinegar behind door number 2. Boop, all I need. All right, let's do tarragon first. Herby, sharp. I like that. And then this is the smoked vinegar. Really complex. I'm decided, they're both really good options. I think I'm gonna go with the smoked. I love that one so much. But this is fabulous. There we go. Vinegar tasting. All right, let's get this show on the road. I do have like a chimichurri recipe that I published with the lamb chops recipe from last year's Easter lineup. I'm not really following it. We're just gonna kind of vibe. Oh, I need my... What's a food processor without the blade? Am I right? Garlic, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 5 cloves. Then herbs wise, still need some of these chives to top my scallop potatoes for tomorrow. So big handful of chives, big handful of parsley with the stems, all gonna get ground up. Big handful of dill, and then mint, because I love mint with lamb. Okay, Calabrian chili. I mean, these things are no joke. We'll start like there. I don't want it too hot. Big splash of our lovely smoked vinegar. So fabulous. Plenty of olive oil. Probably close to a 1/4 cup. This is a really nice olive oil that I had imported from Italy. Got slapped with the tariff bill on that one, let me tell you. And then plenty of salt and pepper. Beautiful. All right, more olive oil. This is looking a little on the pasty side. I'm just gonna use whatever is left in this bottle and we can refill if we need to. Quick tasty taste. More vinegar, touch more salt. And I think we're there, folks. Lovely. That is really nice. Okay. I keep losing my Sharpie. WTF, you guys. Here we go. I found one. That one is sharp. All right. In the fridge until Sunday. Sometimes with chimichurris, because of the olive oil in the refrigerator, can kind of get like a little solidified. Just let it sit at room temp for a little while and it should be just fine. All right. Let's cross that off. Chimichurri is done. Okay. We are looking really good. Let's tidy up. Let's get these herbs dealt with. Quick note about herb storage. So, I washed all of these in my salad spinner earlier, but to keep everything nice and fresh, take you a little damp paper towel, and then I wrap the herbs in the damp paper towel, and then I just slot it back into the produce bag from the store, or a Ziploc bag. And these will keep nice and fresh. And then for woodsy herbs like my thyme, I tend to just kind of store them in the same bag, but I don't go to the trouble of wrapping in the paper towel. Fold this over and this just lives in the fridge like so. Okay, let's get these things put away. Let's refill my olive oil before I go to bed. This one off. This makes me so nervous every time I do it. Someone said if you pour from this end, oh God, it's a lot. Oh no. Okay. Oh God. Let's see, I don't know if I believe them. It scares me. Oh. Wait, that's like a little easier. Oh my God, but it comes out so fast. Okay, there we go. We got it. Slow and steady wins the race. Okay. We did it. topper back on. There you go, clean her up. Till next time. Wait, this is a purse. It's everything. Good night, and I will see you tomorrow for prep day number 2. All right, good morning. Today is Saturday, second day of prep work for our Easter lunch that we're hosting tomorrow. I've cheated on you just a little bit, but all I've done is wash my produce. That's kind of the big task of the day, is chopping, prep, putting things in little meal kits like I like to do. So we're gonna kind of work through this recipe by recipe. And hopefully here in the next couple of hours, we're gonna be in really, really good shape to have a nice smooth feast day tomorrow. So potatoes, peas, carrots, all ready to go. We're gonna get the whole glazed carrots recipe prepped. We're going to do all the blanching and the shocking for the pea salad. And I think I'll make the vinaigrette tomorrow. I also have like some shallots and stuff that need to be shaved for that. Then we're going to get all the veggie prep done for the scalloped potatoes. With the scalloped potatoes, I'm a little bit undecided as how like I wanna do it. So I'm just gonna prep all those elements and then we will assemble it and bake it tomorrow. Let me get a garbage bowl going. That's gonna be really helpful. This t-shirt is from Brandy Melville, so you can't tell me anything. And I guess it seems fitting, like a, you know, Rome t-shirt. The Romans killed Jesus. You know, it's thematic for Easter, I guess. Okay, for the whole glazed carrots, I've got 2 pounds of carrots here, and I'm just going to give everybody a little haircut and then trim off the ends. I've made some adjustments to this recipe since last year, and I really, really like where it's at. And I do these carrots whole as opposed to in slices or in chunks. There's a steakhouse here we love called Bob's, and with every steak they serve like a giant glazed horse carrot on the plate, and they're so, so good. They're orangey and like a little bit cinnamony and spicy, so kind of inspired by that experience. Plus you feel like, you know, a rabbit eating a whole carrot on Easter. It's cute. It's very what's up doc. Look at Miss Thing right here. She said, love her. Somebody's gonna get the diva carrot. All right, carrots are all done. I trimmed the tops and the bottoms. Gonna load everybody into a container here. And I'm just gonna store these in some cold water in the refrigerator, and they'll be perfectly crisp and ready for tomorrow. Just enough to cover. Lid on and into the fridge. Next, I'm gonna assemble all the ingredients for the glaze for the carrots, and then just have that ready to go for tomorrow. Orange. I know we're gonna need ginger. Then let's get cinnamon and brown sugar. So the OG recipe calls for 1 cup of brandy, but you can kind of play fast and loose with the liquid that you want to use. In this case, I'm gonna do half bourbon, half water. You can do all water, all orange juice. Apple cider, brewed sweet tea if you wanted. Choice is totally yours. I'm gonna go half and half bourbon and water today. So, half a cup of bourbon. Off to a great start. And the rest water. And that's kind of the base for the glaze. And then in the glaze, we're gonna add the zest of 1 orange. Oranges are still so good right now. And then the juice of this orange. Now the recipe actually calls for the zest and the juice of 2 oranges, but I'm gonna put 1 in the glaze, and then we'll do the other orange right at the end when the carrots are done, so that we have like a nice fresh pop. I think it really does make a difference. I have the hardest time juicing oranges neatly. There's that. Then this is about a 1-inch piece of ginger. I'm just gonna use a spoon to get the skin off. I think the fresh ginger in this recipe is really what makes it. Then we're just gonna slice this really, really thin. In she goes. Half a cup of brown sugar. It's dark brown sugar. You could do dark or light, whatever you have. Need a bigger container. And then lastly, 1 kind of heaping honkin' teaspoon of cinnamon. About like that. I'm just gonna shake all these ingredients together. And there we go. That's going to be the cooking liquid and the glaze for the carrots. So Pop this in the fridge with the carrots, and then our little carrot meal kit is all ready for tomorrow. Carrot glaze, this can go in the refrigerator. Okay, I'm gonna tidy up and reset, and we're gonna move on to the scallop potatoes. Okay, I guess I'm gonna show you all this because I wasn't sure if it was gonna work, but I bought one of these wooden butter molds, and I wanted to make like special shaped butters. Let me come closer. Can you guys see? Look at my little egg butter. Got a little bit messed up on the bottom, trying to get it out of the mold, but I'm making my second one, so I thought I'd just show you. I'm just packing it in. Put like a light layer of oil in the mold this time to see if that might help, but bought some good French butter at the store. I'm just like mashing it in. Then I'm taking this little spatula and kind of scraping away so we get a good smooth surface. Then I'm taking my spoon to make like a little divot so we have a way to dig it out. And it goes in the freezer for like 30-40 minutes, and then hopefully we're able to kind of pop it out cleanly. So hopefully I can get like 3 or 4 of these done throughout the day. All right, scallop potatoes are up next. So these are also somewhat make-ahead friendly. I'm gonna kind of prep them, I'd say 30% of the way, and then we'll do the rest tomorrow. So I've got a couple pounds of little baby Yukon Gold potatoes here. And we're gonna slice these thin on the mandolin to go with the middle setting on my particular mandolin. Beautiful. And when I roll with the mandolin, do not be a hero. I'm stopping there. So we're just gonna trim all these up. Then we're gonna do the same with some shallots. So just go slow, be careful. This is a tool that commands your attention and your respect. Keeping all your fingertips is more important than using up every last bit of potato, I promise you. I think the one puzzle for today that I'm really yet to figure out is gonna be the baked orzo. It's not one that I've tested before, so we're kind of using this as a venue to road test something new, which is fine. Don't think my family's gonna complain. Maybe I'll follow my own advice and just use the stupid guard like a normal person. Oh, I love potatoes, you guys. Fabulous. Then same deal here. I'm gonna plop these into one of my containers. And I'm gonna store these overnight in some cold water as well. Perfect. Somehow I can't find the lid to this one, so little plastic lid will work just fine. Then with my potatoes, really what I wanna do is just assemble all of the other components of the recipe and kind of turn it into like a meal kit. So we're going to shave the shallots, shred the cheese, and then get everything together for the steeped cream that we need to do. Okay. Let's do the shallots first because I also need shallots for the pea salad. So we'll just start there. Oh, I'm starting to cry. Oh God. It's happening. Oh Jesus. These kind of more skinny ones I want to use for the pea salad. Okay, let's get our shallots sliced up. I love a shallot. I love onions. I love alliums. Oh my God. Oh God. We're dying. We are dying. Jesus. Oh. It's so bad. Holy shit. I could never work in a restaurant. They'd like put me on onion duty. I'd be bullied right out of there. Are you kidding me? Okay. Oh, we made it. Somehow, some way. Well, oh, holy crap. Shallots are done. Okay, so in this container, this is gonna be for the scallop potatoes. I tuck thinly sliced shallots all up in there. So good. I also, when I'm juggling multiple recipes on the same day, making like little meal kits is very helpful. So that recipe has a couple cloves of garlic that go in the steeped cream. So I'm gonna add those in there right now. Also calls for a couple sprigs of fresh thyme. So I'm gonna plop that right in the same container. I don't really care if the thyme tastes like shallots. It's kind of all going to the same place is how I see it. But I'll take out the garlic and the thyme to steep in the cream, and then I'll have the shallots right there for when I'm ready to assemble that recipe. So, little label on this. scallop potatoes meal kit right in the fridge. This container, these shallots are for the pea salad with bacon fat vinaigrettes. Delicious, delicious, delicious. So I'm just gonna write on the label for pea salad. So I know. Greatness. All right. I think all that's left to do for the scallop potatoes is to shred the Gruyere cheese. So we'll do that next. I'm gonna flip this over to a clean side so my Gruyere doesn't taste like onions. All right, so we're gonna do this, then we're gonna blanch and chock the peas for the pea salad. Get those into the refrigerator also. We'll take a look. All right, I'm gonna set these over here behind me. Deal with those in just a moment. One of my favorite tricks for grating cheese is to do it on top of parchment. Then you can just transfer it around so much easier. We slice away the rind from our Gruyere. Cut this into manageable pieces. Woohoo! Is there anything more exciting than grating cheese? If there is, I haven't found it. Okay, I'm worried it's not quite enough Gruyere for how big of a gratin that I'm making. So I found some white cheddar in there. We're just gonna add this in. I think that'll be nice. And then I know for sure we have enough. Because this is a cheese-eating crowd, let me tell you. Okay. So now we have our cheese here. Then I can just roll it up in the parchment. Boom. Okay, in the fridge for later. All right, you guys, we are doing great. All right, hello, beautiful people. Took a little break to kind of clean up, reset, got my dishwasher going, and we are gonna move on to preparing everything for our pea salad with bacon fat and vinaigrette. So I've got about 3/4 of a pound of snow peas here. I washed these earlier today. We're gonna julienne them here in a second, but what I'm doing first is just snapping off this kind of fibrous strip on the edge. All right, so we have our snow pea here. Kind of clip one end and that sort of fibrous strip should peel away. Sometimes you're gonna peel it from both ends, but just makes these a little bit easier to eat. And the blanching and chocking definitely makes these a little more tender too, which is nice. But spring is all about green vegetables, peas, asparagus. All the foodie types are gonna be talking about garlic scapes and ramps and all that stuff. All right, I'm gonna sit here and do this. Then what I want to do is julienne these. So I stack them about, 3 peas high, and I slice these really thin at an angle. Kind of like that. And so texturally, what we end up with is kind of like a snow pea slaw. It's really, really nice. So I'm gonna work away at these, and then we're gonna blanch and chock these to get everything nice and bright green and tender. So, got a big pot of boiling water here. I'm gonna salt this, and we're gonna blanch our snow peas. So everybody in the pool, just for, minute or two. Oh, they get this beautiful green color. Then we're gonna shock them in an ice bath. So let me add some ice to a little bowl of water I've got going over here. That's good. They don't need to be in here for all that long. Oh my gosh, I'm like sloshing everywhere. This just locks in that beautiful green color. It makes everything nice and tender, really easy to eat. Not quite so fibrous if we were to be eating raw peas. Everybody in the ice water. Stop the cooking. That was barely a minute, Crunchy, a little bit sweet. Peas are definitely among my favorite vegetable. This is a little extra, but I'm gonna go through here with a more fine mesh strainer and catch all of those pieces. All right, next up, we're gonna add some frozen peas to the same blanching water. These are from a local farm out of Canton, Texas. Very fun. So this is a 1.5 pound bag. We need 10 ounces. So I'm gonna do just about half of this bag here. Maybe a little more. Doesn't have to be too precise. And same deal, I just wanna give these, a minute or so in the simmering water. Okay. Peas are so good.
You love peas.
I love peas.
Peas are great.
Are peas a legume, technically?
A legume?
Legume. Yeah, Google that for me. I want to know.
Peas are botanically classified as legumes, though they are often treated as vegetables in cooking.
Wow.
The more you know.
The more you know. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's fish all these out into the same cold water. All right. Look at how bright green and beautiful. Oof. All right. Okay, it took a little time to get all my serving pieces laid out. Got these really adorable bunny appetizer plates from Williams-Sonoma. That silver bowl is for potato chips. Everything has a job, so that I got taken care of. Okay, here is the blanched peas. What I'm gonna do is spin these dry in my salad spinner. Whoa. All right, and then to store these, back in this bowl with a little paper towel, just to collect the excess moisture. Little plastic on this, and in the fridge until tomorrow. So I'll see you guys on party day. Let's take stock of our checklist. Prep the carrots, that's done. Pre-batch the Arnold Palmers, didn't get that done because my pitcher isn't here yet, so. All right, we prepped the peas, that's done. We prepped our shallots. I did not assemble my orzo either. We'll handle that tomorrow. I'm also kind of worried about testing that for the first time and letting it sit overnight. I think it might not work quite well. So tomorrow morning we'll do the rolls, put out the butter, put out the ham, work on the orzo, work on the carrots, work on the salad. Okay, I think we'll be in good shape for tomorrow. We did in fact order Dairy Queen for dinner. Cheers. Good morning. It is Easter feast day around here, and we have a lot to get through. So, got my to-do list. I've already put the rolls out. I just use frozen rolls, like it's not a big deal. So that's all happening. What we're gonna work on now is the meringue topping for the lemon meringue pie. And then we'll get into everything else as the day goes on. So we're gonna start there, then I'll probably move to the potatoes and then the baked orzo, which we didn't get to yesterday. And then carrots and the pea salad will kind of happen simultaneously. We'll take out the lamb at like 1:30-ish. Smear that with the butter, roast it. Hopefully everything's on the table in a somewhat orderly fashion. So, first up is the meringue. So I've cleaned out my bowl. These are the leftover egg whites from the pie recipe that we made on Friday. They've just been sitting in the fridge, no biggie. Grab my whisk attachment. Egg whites in the bowl. We're gonna start whipping these. Then when they start to look foamy, 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. It's like the one thing I use cream of tartar for. All right, so we're kind of increasing in volume. I'm gonna slowly drizzle in 1/4 of a cup of super fine sugar. Then we let it whip until it's really glossy and has nice stiff peaks. So let's check on this and kind of see how we're progressing. Okay, we're like almost there actually. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna call that pretty much a stiff peak. I love meringue. I'm gonna go for like another maybe 10 seconds. Super cute. Okay, let me get the pie out of the fridge. Okay, so here's the lemon pie that we made the other day. We are gonna top this with a massive pile of our meringue. Just taking a spatula, Kind of smoothing this out. And then we're gonna torch this before dessert. So I kind of want to make some little swirlies. So we have pieces to torch, you know? See if this is like somewhat even. Perfect. Into the fridge until later. Okay, that's the pie, you guys. Amazing. Next up, we're going to assemble our scallop potatoes. So first part of that is making like a steeped cream that we pour on top of the potatoes before we bake them. So I'm gonna start that first. Obviously, 2 cups of heavy cream. Then remember yesterday we made this little meal kit for this recipe. This is where this kind of thing really comes in handy. A couple sprigs of fresh thyme. A couple cloves of garlic. I'm gonna smash these before they go in, just to really release all the flavor. A couple teaspoons of Dijon mustard. Then a little bit of fresh nutmeg. And finally, some salt and pepper. Over to the stove. All right, gonna get this going over a nice low heat. Pardon my reach. We're gonna let this kind of come up to a very gentle simmer. Let it steep for a little bit while we get all the other ingredients prepared. And we have a really nice, flavorful cream to go on our scalloped potatoes. This is a really great technique also for mashed potatoes to kind of do a nice infused cream before you add them to your final recipe. So we're gonna let this hang out and then assemble everything else in the meantime. All right, I've strained my potatoes. I'm gonna just throw these onto a big sheet tray with a clean kitchen towel. Just sort of dry everybody out. And when you chill these thinly sliced potatoes in the water, they get like that cup, like pepperoni shape. Get a pizza with those small pepperonis on it and they like
it's like a
flip inside
lens.
out. Yeah, it's a contact lens. Okay, I'm just gonna pat these dry. I don't want them too wet going into the casserole dish. Yeah, that's much better. Can you imagine if I was just gonna sit here and just pat every single one dry? Just sit here all day and do this. All right, good enough. Then we have our casserole dish. Okay, the cream back here has been bubbling. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat off and just let it sit and steep like that. So I have a little butter paper. I'm gonna smear this all over the inside of this dish. We're gonna start making stacks. So what I'll do is take, 3-4 potatoes at a time, then like a little handful of shallots, then another, 3-4 potatoes, another little nest of shallots, and make a little stack like so, and then rest that in the dish, standing up, to the best of my ability, okay? And then we just repeat. Little potato, little shallot, little potato, little shallot, on and on we go. So I am gonna work on that.
This is beautiful.
It's a very pretty dish. And then we're gonna come along once all the layers are in and we add Gruyere cheese kind of in between everything. And then the cream and then more cheese on top. It's a very pretty dish. This thing pretty full. I totally got room right there. This is where it gets fun. It's like, okay, what can I squeeze out of all this? Because we're also about to put a bunch of cheese in here. All right, get the shallot smell off of my hands. All right, our cream has steeped. I'm gonna strain this into a measuring cup just to catch all of the thyme sprigs and the garlic pieces and the whatnot. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Beautiful. Gorge. I'm gonna let this cool down because we're gonna put this back in the fridge before I bake it here in a couple of hours. So I'm gonna give this just a second. Okay, so remember our cheese we grated yesterday? This is a combination of Gruyere and a sharp white cheddar. Usually I use all Gruyere, but I wanted to be sure that I had plenty of cheese for this recipe. So what I'm gonna do is every so often find a little spot and just jam some cheese down inside. So you end up with little pockets of melted cheese all throughout the scallop potatoes. Do not be shy. There's always room for cheese. Oof, look at this. I'm so excited. Okay, when you think you can't squeeze any more cheese in here, that's kind of when you know. Beautiful. Okay. We're gonna take our beautiful garlicky steeped cream, pour this all over. And then, because the cream is quite thick, sometimes you kind of need to ply things apart to let it settle down in there. Beautiful. Okay. All right, I'm not going to actually bake this until closer to when we eat. So I'm gonna keep it just like this. Girl, we still got some cream in the bottom. Hello. Yeah, I need some like right there. This is gonna hang in the fridge just like this until about an hour or so before lunch. That is another thing done. Potatoes are assembled. I'm gonna tidy up one more time and then we're gonna move on to the baked orzo. Kind of an experiment we're figuring out today, so TBD on that one. I was in Austin the other week, well, last weekend, and I went to a Mediterranean restaurant called Abba, and they had a really nice baked orzo on the menu that we got, and it was very, very simple. Just orzo, it had truffle, parmesan, lemon, and crispy breadcrumbs on top, and I thought that would be a really fun thing to try as maybe like an easier macaroni and cheese alternative if you wanted like a baked kind of cheesy pasta for Easter, really for any day. So my water is boiling or coming up to a boil back behind me. I've got 1 pound of orzo. We're gonna grate up a whole bunch of fresh parm, some garlic and some lemon, and then we'll do like a crispy breadcrumb topping once we get like a little bit closer to dinner time. So, I'm gonna see if I can do all of this with just a microplane. That would kind of be amazing. So I'm just gonna sit here and grate up a bunch of parm while my water is coming up to a boil. Biggest like sprint of the day is gonna be probably from 1 p.m. onward, because that's when we're gonna be juggling lamb, ham, what else? The carrots, the pea salad. Carrots are easy, I just kind of set it and forget it. But the pea salad, we're gonna have to like render fat from pancetta and make the bacon fat vinaigrette. And then toss it all together. Kind of an ordeal. That's probably like a cup to a cup and a third so far. It's amazing how much life comes out of one wedge of Parmigiano Reggiano. All right, we'll start there, and if we feel like we need more, we can always add more. Then I know I'm gonna want some garlic in there, but I don't like things too garlicky, I really don't. So let's do like 2 cloves to start. I started buying the pre-peeled garlic. That's the best thing ever. Okay, and then let's do a zest of this lemon. And then I think I want to do more lemon zest on top of the breadcrumbs, like when it comes out. But I want some lemon in the pasta too. The wickedest witch there ever. I don't know why that's in my head too. I need a Diet Coke. Need anything?
I'm good.
You good on coffee? We got an ice cold fridge cig here. Oh, that's a good one. This one's been marinating. This has been in there about 5 or 6 days, you can tell. Oh, it's like almost frozen, you know? When you get a really good one. It's a good sign. All right, water's still working. Okay. Water is boiling. Plenty of salt in this. Let's do the whole bag. Now I'm gonna cook this orzo really al dente because it is gonna get baked again in the oven, and orzo does not take long to cook at all. So really just a couple minutes. All right, orzo is done boiling. I'm gonna save a bit of the pasta water in case we need it. Really what this is gonna be is like a baked truffle-y, lemony, cacio e pepe-y thing. So I'm gonna strain this. Everybody back in the pool. Excuse me. What do I wanna stir this with? Let's do this. No orzo left behind. Butter, pasta water, and I'm gonna start stirring in this Parmesan. I'm just gonna do my Parmesan like a handful at a time. I'm gonna add the rest of everything right now. Parm, the garlic, the lemon. Then let's go ahead and do the rest of our pasta water. And I'm gonna start like there with the truffle oil. And we'll taste and decide. Could also shave like actual black truffle pieces into this, which would be really nice, but maybe for next time. More truffle, salt. I think I want like a lot of black pepper in this. Oh, that's gotta be the flowers. Flowers are here. All right, we have 2 more coming in. Flowers are here. Oh my gosh, so gorgeous. Paloma, let's have you shoot this direction. Yeah, that's cute. I'm no kidding, right? And the little pops of blue, like they match my bunny plates perfect. Yeah, that's that.
It always makes it.
That's, yeah. You have to. Yeah. Like you have to do flowers.
A lot of people don't realize how important the long and low is.
I can actually like see the person
Speak to the
across
person.
from
Yeah.
me.
A lot of weddings will use really tall flowers and then you can't see people at your table.
I know. All right. Oh my God, yay!
And what's beautiful about those is that we get, and I may say this on camera, but we get to enjoy them after the event.
They'll last all week.
Because they'll last all week.
They'll last all week.
Pepper them around the house.
Yeah.
I've got 2 more birthday gifts for Moo Moo.
All right, we're gonna get this orzo situated, and then we'll probably move to the tables shortly after that.
Okay, I'll put my clothes on.
Let's move back here, Paloma, to finish this up.
Okay.
Oh my God, I love that. I'm gonna have to give Jimmy a thank you note. Jimmy! All right, for this orzo, I want to do a little olive oil in the bottom of the cast iron. See if we can encourage, you know, some crispy edges perhaps. I'm just gonna brush a light layer all up the sides. Okay. Then our orzo, all of the lemon and the garlic and the truffle. Okay. All right, I'm gonna let this cool down and then we'll pop it in the fridge to get baked later. And before it goes in the oven, we're gonna add some buttery breadcrumbs on top, and then we'll do some more lemon zest on it at the end. So this can just hang out for the time being. I'm gonna tidy up again, and then we're kind of in a good lull period until things get busy again. Orzo is all done. Next up, I think we should probably either start working on the pancetta. Actually, no, next up, let's go ahead and like set up the whole dessert station and everything. And that can just like be done. And then we'll probably start working on the pancetta for the salad. Yeah, that's probably about it. And then it's gonna be crazy time. It's gonna be absolutely cuckoo crazy time from like 1 to 3. That's where it's gonna get tough. Okay, setting up the dessert station. You guys already know what's about to go down. Because this is what everybody actually wants. Okay, this is what we're all after. Did I make an actual dessert? Yeah. Are the Reese's eggs gonna go first? Yeah, 100%. Like, this is just fun, you know? Nothing better than a 6-pack. And here we go, baby. My Reese's egg tower. I'm so tempted to just grab one, but we're gonna be good. The Easter Bunny's watching. I have these lovely, like Jordan almonds. Ooh. Goes into a nice silver bowl. And then I also got these gorgeous chocolate robin's eggs. So we're just gonna stick these out too. Beautiful. We've got these. Pie is gonna go here. Vanilla bundt cake from Honey Baked Ham that we ordered. And then my grandma's also bringing a dessert, so we can go here too. But that's the Easter dessert lineup. Just imagine a big fat lemon meringue pie right there. Yay! Okay, Tablescape walkthrough time.
My favorite.
Her favorite. For those of you that love a Tablescape, this is your favorite too. And honestly, this year's,
It's
this
so
is
festive.
up there. I
Yeah.
really love this
This
table.
one's festive, and what I love about it is we didn't have to buy hardly anything.
No, just the
It was
flowers
real
and the
simple.
chocolate bunnies.
Yeah.
Well, I did buy the candle. We'll get there.
Well,
All right, so really what we did is just brought out the same pieces we always use. Y'all have seen these silver charters before from Thanksgiving and Christmas. Plain white dinner plates. And then I just add these really cute Williams-Sonoma bunny plates. Simple napkin ring, and then every place setting is getting a chocolate bunny, of course. Really, really cute. And then we just kind of like messed around with the napkins.
Yeah, we didn't want to go all matchy-matchy. And so one of the things that we decided to do would be to alternate just some complementary napkins. We're reusing these silver napkin rings that we always use. We're reusing the same clear glassware, the same flatware. So honestly, there wasn't a lot that we had to add. We can use these at Mother's Day this year. You know, these over here would be really great for Mother's Day or even Valentine's Day.
Yeah, those are cute.
And not having all matching napkins, it really brings texture to the table. You know, I'm from the 80s and everything used to be matchy-matchy, but you've brought me along.
I get asked quite a bit, like people who are putting together a wedding registry or like stocking a new apartment. Like, what do I buy? What do I invest in? I think a neutral set of chargers, white dinner plates, plain silverware, plain glassware, plain napkin rings is totally something that's worth asking for. Yeah. Because then you just swap out like a festive salad plate or some little tchotchkes on the table, and all of a sudden this like standard set works for every holiday on the calendar.
Yeah, makes it really simple and reusable.
Totally. So I do want to talk about these candles really quickly. These are carrot-shaped taper candles. I ordered these from a store in Brooklyn called Big Night. I'll link them down below if anybody's interested. I think they make the whole thing. It's like a really fun, whimsical touch. Like, Paloma, get all up in here. We have like, it's a full-on carrot. It's like the texture of a carrot. It's so
I even love that
fun.
they're not perfectly straight.
Yeah. They have that fun organic shape and it adds that like touch of asymmetry that I'm really into. Then let's talk about our flowers really quick. So flower-wise, we went with 2 long and lows. If you order flowers, say you're looking for a long and low, sometimes they're more specific to holiday times. So I had to like bring in some of my own vessels for these, but conversation for another day. I just ordered these from my grocery store. Central Market does an incredible job with florals. Jimmy at Central Market, shout out to you. That's my king. And I just kind of told them what I was looking for. We wanted like soft pastels, lilacs, baby pinks, baby yellow, and they totally knocked it out of the park.
Jimmy's done our flowers for the last 4 or 5 events.
Yeah, he did.
He knows exactly what you like.
Yeah, he did Thanksgiving, he did Christmas, he did the rehearsal dinner, so he's got it down. But I think a long and low is a great way to go because you can actually see across and you can talk to the person you're seated across from. Sometimes we're tempted to like go really high with flowers, or we just take them straight from the store, plop them into a vase, set them on the center of the table, which can be fine. But when you're actually seated around that table and you can't see the person across from you, I think that's a problem. So these are a good height. They're dramatic enough to be seen, but like if I'm sitting here, I can easily see the person right across from me, which is what counts. So,
you know, you were talking about wedding registry.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the other really good things to do if you're signing up for a wedding registry, this is one of the touches that we do at Thanksgiving and at Christmas and kind of all our events. I bought a set of 24 salt and pepper shakers. And we put one out for every place setting so that nobody has to ask for salt and pepper. They're right there. And this is something that people actually notice on our tables more than about anything.
They love it.
Yeah, and
people love it.
Your shaped butters, which we'll go through later. But this is another great staple that you can reuse every holiday, every event, every occasion. Just stick out a little salt and pepper shaker for everybody, and then they don't have to ask. Pass the salt.
Super cute. Let's talk about bonus table.
Bonus table.
Alrighty. Bonus table. So all this is a plain Jane plastic folding table. You can hear it. Yeah. Inexpensive Amazon tablecloth on top. Just iron it to get the creases out.
Yeah.
You don't want to have like...
No.
You don't want it to look like it came straight from the plastic bag to the table.
Yeah.
So take the time to iron it.
Yesterday.
And then talk about your layered placemats here.
Yeah, because this table's a little smaller and because we wanted to maybe showcase the flowers, we didn't want to try to put a placemat at every setting. And so I tried it 2 ways. When I was setting the table yesterday, I tried just the plain placemat. These are mine from last year. I used them last year. But for some reason, it just wasn't quite enough. So I layered it with another very inexpensive round on top. And I really liked the juxtaposition of the rectangle and the round and then the egg-shaped plate. I thought it tied in great. And you know, these napkins match this placemat, but I didn't want to go too matchy-matchy. So I just put in a more neutral napkin. And again, you can use these all year round.
Yeah.
A nice neutral napkin. We didn't go napkin rings on this table. We just put the napkin up under the plate, and we added some very inexpensive colored glassware.
Yeah, these are Crate and Barrel. These are just like, I think $5 or $6 a piece or something. They're not bad at all.
Not horribly expensive. And we used these Easter, and then I used them for a baby shower once.
Oh, yeah.
And so and Mother's Day luncheon. So again, a reasonably priced neutral palette glassware is something that you'll use over and over and over again.
Totally. With this silverware, so we heard this tip recently, but don't include silverware at the place setting for a course that's not going to be served.
Right.
So we're not serving a salad course, so I'm not including a salad fork.
Yeah.
We're not doing a dessert course, so there's no dessert spoon.
Right, or a soup spoon.
Or a soup spoon.
We did a nice teaspoon because a lot of our family, for lunchtime, they're going to do iced tea with either sugar or Splenda or something. And so we did try to include a spoon for that.
Yeah.
And we have a couple of young moms that are going to be sitting at this table, and they might feed their kid off their plate. So I thought having a spoon would be
I think a spoon's a good idea no matter
yeah.
what.
Yeah.
But you don't need like 10 different utensils that no one's going to touch. Like, it's just kind of a waste of space.
No, it is.
And the tables are already kind of tight. So we're seating 8 per table, which is maybe a little...
It's about the max you
it's
can
about
really
the
get
max
away
you
with.
can get away with.
Yeah.
So don't want to
It
crowd
turned out
anything.
really cute. I think
it
it turned out great.
really, really
Matching
cute.
flowers, always a good touch.
Yeah.
And then everybody gets a bunny.
Everyone gets a bunny. All right, do you want to go talk about your kids' table?
Okay, sure. So my grandbabies are going to be here as well as one of our family friends, and I set up a place for them, put a few little cute decorations. I've probably had these 5-6 years. And we gave them paper plates because, you know, I think that's going to work out a little better because they're all fairly young. I have smaller colored flatware. Put that, gave them a little paper napkin, and we included a chocolate lollipop for them. And it just makes them feel included and feel festive. You know, my youngest grandchild might sit on his mom's lap and eat, or he may want to sit here at the kids' table, but just giving them a place and making them feel included is really important to me. So that's why we do up a little cute kids' table.
All right, well, that is the Tablescape tour for Easter this year. Thank you very much for your help, lady.
You're welcome. Mr. Wayne.
He's fine.
Hop down, Bubba.
You're dismissed. Your
Thank
services
you.
are no longer
All
required.
right, I'm going to make Easter baskets.
All right, have fun.
All
Thank
right.
you.
You're welcome, sweetie.
All right. I'm in love with these. They turned out so good. But yeah, let's get back to work. All right, I ordered a nice new pitcher for this occasion, and I don't think it's gonna show up in time. So we're gonna go ahead and pre-batch our spiked Arnold Palmers using Milo's. Of course, I'm doing the unsweet tea and the zero sugar lemonade, so it's like double skinny. But I also don't like an Arnold Palmer that's too sweet, because I think a lot of the sweetness comes from the lemonade. Go about that much with the tea. Lemonade. Then vodka. Let's start with like 2/3 of a cup in each. I'm just totally eyeballing this. Oh, look at that, right to the top. Perfect. I think I have lids for these. There we go. Perfect. In the ice bucket. And then I'm gonna do a carafe of just the unsweet, in case anybody just wants a glass of tea. I'm gonna label this so we know. There we go. Okay, getting into the nitty gritty of it all. We're gonna go ahead and get our lamb ready. So, let me open this up and tell you about what we've got going on here. Beautiful.
Oh my gosh, we're actually on time.
I know. Okay, so I have 2 racks of lamb. These are both 8 ribs. And had the butcher keep a little bit of fat on it, but we're kind of mostly lean here. What I'm gonna do is take some paper towel and just pat these guys nice and dry. They're really not that wet. Just any like excess surface moisture. Then I've got my salt in like a little separate bowl here so I can get my dirty lamb hands in it and not worry. But we're gonna salt these racks of lamb really generously on all sides. Just like I would with any piece of meat. I don't wanna forget the ends. I'm gonna roast them on this sheet tray. I've got some aluminum foil and a wire rack set on top. So I'm just gonna set them on the tray, like so. And these are gonna sit just like this at room temperature for about an hour. And then we're gonna slather them with the herb butter before they go in the oven. Okay, easiest thing we'll do all day. Get the ham out. Done. So. Oh my god, you know when we can make like a split pea soup with the ham bone?
Only you'd be like, let's make split pea soup. Guys, wait. Let's make
One
split pea
weekend, me and Ryan did a trip to Los Olivos and stayed at this hotel called Pea Soup Anderson's. And they serve pea soup at Pea Soup Anderson's.
That's hilarious.
Remember our butter from yesterday? I got 4 of them done. So we're gonna do 2 per table. Aren't these adorable? Oh, the birds are chirping. It's sunny outside. All right, let's go set these on the table.
You got it?
I got it.
I believe in you.
I need to teach you how to do that.
I know, you do. All right, so you do 1.
Pick it up. Ready?
Ready. Daisy, you don't need no butter.
She thinks she needs all
Choose where you'd like it to go.
Let's do 1 on each end. And then look, we have these beautiful little bunny spreaders. So perfect. Then same deal down here, Jelena.
Okay. 1 here.
All right, we are suspiciously ahead of schedule. I don't know. So we're gonna do a little premature glass of wine before it gets too crazy up in here. I'm kind of at a point in the cooking where I don't want to start things too early and just have them sitting there unnecessarily when all of these things can kind of happen simultaneously. So we're gonna kick things off with a little rosé on ice. And it's gonna be great. Would you like to help me serve, waitress extraordinaire?
I would love to help you serve.
What
you.
restaurant did you work at? A steakhouse?
I worked at a whole bunch of different restaurants.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go plop this back in the ice bucket.
I worked at.
I think I just drank out of one of
This
them.
one, okay. This one looks like it has lip marks on it.
That means it's Harrison's.
I think.
My lip gloss. I really can't tell, Jelena.
I don't.
I want to watch the Carolyn Mazette Kennedy.
We can watch the video back.
Okay, so continuing on with our spring pea salad with the bacon fat vinaigrette. The first step is to render some fat from some pancetta. So this is 8 ounces of pancetta, and I had the deli slice it nice and thick, so we'll get kind of nice, crunchy lardon pieces in the final salad. So I've got this in a cold pan here, and we're gonna start rendering the fat over like medium low heat for a nice long time. So we'll get plenty of drippings out of this, and we're gonna use the drippings for the vinaigrette, and then the crunchy pancetta pieces will go in the final salad. This is gonna do its thing, should take about 15-20 minutes or so. Alrighty, so it's about 1:30. Ham is out, that's donesies. The pancetta is working right now. I think the next big thing is getting our potatoes in the oven, because that will take like a solid hour. So let me go ahead and do that now, actually. These look so good. Because I want to be sure things are saucy enough, I am gonna throw a little bit of whole milk in the bottom, just so our bases are covered. I'm gonna cover this with foil. And this is gonna bake at 400 for about an hour. Okay, pancetta's looking good. Gonna let this just continue to render, start to crisp up. All right, potatoes are in, that's a big one. Then I wanted the apps out by 2, so let's do that next. And then lamb should be ready to go in, yeah, a little after 2 p.m. And then at the same time, we'll get the carrots done. And that's kind of the last really big thing. So I'm feeling okay right now, you guys. Let's get some little nibbles out. A good formula to follow is that like the second your guests walk in, they should be able to have a drink and have a little bite of something, even if the meal isn't ready yet. In fact, the meal probably shouldn't be ready yet. You want to give people a little bit of time to like mingle, get settled, and then it'll be time to sit down. So here are some easy little go-tos, some good little nibble pieces for your guests. Okay, so bowls of like little crunchy things is always a good idea. Chicago mixed popcorn, nothing wrong with that. What's not to love? Then behind door number 2, just some plain Jane kettle chips. Always goes over well. I do tend to hang on to the bag because if these don't all disappear, you can stash them back in here. Working on some pancetta back there. So there's that. I love a little trio server. Marcona almonds in one, some honey mustard bar mix in the other. Gorgeous. And then behind door number 3, these are lemon stuffed olives. I love these. You know, I think one spicy thing is usually a good idea. These pipara peppers I had out for a tapas night last week. So these are already open in the fridge. These are delicious. So anything pickly and spicy, little pickled peppers, whatever you can get your hands on. Lovely little no-cook assembly only apps. So we'll set these out, and then I got one more for you. Everyone loves a goat cheese and pepper jelly. So this is just 1 log of goat cheese, nothing crazy. But I have had this sitting out for maybe an hour or so, so it's nice and soft and spreadable. There we go. Kind of came apart, no biggie. Then, for the pepper jelly, we have something special today. So my friend Seth is doing this really fun collab with Jamagansett, which is like a small batch jam company out of Amagansett, New York. I think they're opening like a actual storefront bakery this year. But anyway, he sent these to me. This is the Sweet Heat Pepper Jelly. Ooh, this is gonna be great. So, I'm just gonna ladle this right on top, straight from the jar. Could not be simpler. Beautiful. Wait, I wanna taste this just like by itself. Oh, that's really nice. And then to go with, a townhouse cracker. Y'all are sleeping on a townhouse cracker. I'm gonna kick this off because I really want a bite of this. Seth killed it with these. So good. All right, apps are done. Pancetta is nice and crispy crunchy. We have a beautiful layer of fat here in the bottom. I'm gonna take the pancetta away onto a little paper towel lined tray here. And then the fat will be the basis for the vinaigrette, which is what makes this so delicious. Is just tilt off that reserved fat into a little heat-proof vessel. And there we go. That's gonna be the basis for the vinaigrette. Okay, so we're kind of getting into like crazy go time right now. I'm gonna go ahead and whip up the garlic butter breadcrumbs that are gonna go on top of the baked orzo. So I'm just eyeballing this, but this is about 1.5 cups of panko breadcrumbs. Half a stick of melted butter. Little garlic powder. And some salt and pepper. And then all I'm gonna do is just zhuzh these together And then I'll just hang these off to the side until we're ready to top the orzo and stick that in the oven. And then we're gonna shift focus back to the lamb. There's that. All right, we're turning our attention back to the racks of lamb. I am going to pat these dry one more time. That salt has brought a lot of moisture to the surface, so we want to sop all of that back up again. That way the butter has like a dry surface to adhere to. I'm just gonna smear this all over our racks of lamb. Y'all help yourselves. I'm gonna keep filming, but some people are outside, bars over there, and then dinner should be ready a little after 3. For dinner, late lunch, whatever the hell this is. Okay. Lambs are all coated in our beautiful green herb butter. I'm gonna go and throw these in the oven. These are gonna roast at 425 degrees for about 25 minutes. So, in they go. And in this 25 minutes, this is gonna be like serious go time. Let's check our list. Apps are out, lamb is in. Next up, let's get the carrots going. And then we're gonna next up, let's get the orzo in the oven. I'm gonna go grab that. Okay. So here's our orzo. This is kind of an experiment. So I'm a little skeeved about this being too dry, especially after baking. So I am gonna add some chicken stock to this. On goes the breadcrumbs. This is gonna go in the 400-degree oven with the potatoes and get nice and brown, crunchy on top. I'm gonna start the bidding at like 25 minutes or so. I've got 3 minutes left on my potato timer. So we're gonna get our carrots started. I'm gonna drain these. So, everybody in the pool, including Miss Diva Carrot. Exactly. Carrots in, and this is the glaze that we prepared yesterday with the bourbon and everything. In goes the glaze, and the glaze becomes the cooking liquid. Let me shake up what's left in here. Bring these to a simmer over medium-low, and we're gonna cover these and let them steam in here for about 20 minutes or so. Then we will take the lid off, let the glaze reduce, and toss them with more orange zest and orange juice at the end, plus some butter to get things nice and delicious. So, those are gonna sit there and do their thing. Lamb is in. Oh, next up, we're gonna take the cover off the potatoes and add the cheese. So that's next. All right. Here, our scallop potatoes. Okay.
Happy Easter!
Happy Easter, Max!
Happy Easter!
Scallop potatoes continue. These have baked in the oven for 1 hour covered. Took the foil off. And now we're gonna top with plenty more cheese. This is the Gruyere and cheddar blend. The written recipe just calls for Gruyere, but I added the cheddar because it's what I had on hand. And I wanted to kind of bulk it up a little bit. Back in the oven for another 15 minutes or so until things are really golden and bubbly. So in this goes. All happening, we're gonna continue on with this pea salad. So we're gonna start by making the bacon fat vinaigrette. I've been saying bacon fat. It's the fat from the pancetta, but you know, works better for SEO to call it bacon fat vinaigrette. So we have our reserved pork fat, really. We're gonna take 2 tablespoons. Then same amount of vinegar. I am using a tarragon vinegar today. Apple cider vinegar, champagne vinegar, white wine vinegar, red wine vinegar, totally up to you. But this tarragon one is really quite nice. Some Dijon, and then a little black pepper. I'm not gonna salt it quite yet because the pancetta fat is really quite salty, so there's not really a need to. We're gonna taste it first. All right, I'm just gonna whisk this together. That is really nice. A little more black pepper, and let's do a little more pancetta fat, a little more tarragon vinegar.
Yep.
Easter Bunny Hunt!
Easter bunny hunt. All right, lamb timer just went off. We're gonna check that for 10.
Easter Bunny Hunt!
Lamb is out. Let's go check this. I'm trying to get between the bones here. Yep. All right, we're gonna go back in for another 8 minutes or so. Keeping the heat nice and high at 425, and then we're gonna tent these under some foil to rest. Kind of amazing how you can be cooking so clean all day, and then that like 20 minutes before you're supposed to eat rolls around, and you've dirtied up every single dish in that amount of time. Kind of crazy. All right, lamb is back in. Let's talk about the vinaigrette for a second. Because with the pea salad, we're using pork fat for the vinaigrette. That vinaigrette is gonna like solidify if it sits at room temperature for too long. So a way around that is I put the vinaigrette in a small pot on a really, really low flame. In fact, my heat is off right now. And just keeping it warm like this will keep everything nice and liquidy, and then we'll toss everything right before we have dinner. And back to the carrots really quickly. So these have been going. Oh yeah, they look really nice. I'm gonna give them a quick toss. I'm gonna let them continue to simmer away just for a little bit longer with the lid off, evaporate some of that glaze in there, but these are getting nice and tender. They're not all the way done yet. Like on some of these thicker ones, still some resistance there, but definitely looking really, really nice. And we'll finish these with some cold butter, some more orange juice and orange zest here in just a few minutes. So we're kind of in that little holding pattern time right now. Hello, Nanny's here. Take a peek at our scallop potatoes down here in our orzo. Let those go for a bit longer. Actually, let's go ahead and pull the lamb now. Oh yeah, we're good. Okay, I'm gonna tent these with foil. Now that my lamb is kind of donezo's, this was my big thing I was worried about, but this is incredibly easy to do. Lamb's resting, carrots are going, vinaigrette is warm, potatoes are just about done. I'm gonna transition this top oven here to a warming drawer. So I'm gonna go ahead and just turn my heat off on the carrots. 2 tablespoons of butter going in. So to finish this, we're gonna add the zest and the juice of our second orange. Adding that pop of freshness right at the end really makes a difference. Max, you want a hot dog? All right, I'll fix you one. Now we just toss everything together. Leave these kind of partially covered until dinner. Lamb's resting. Let's check on the potatoes and the orzo. These are looking great. I am just gonna keep these in here with the oven off, and then they'll be fine until dinner. And then we'll top the scallop potatoes with chives right before serving. So let's get everything set out. Yeah, and then we'll finish everything from there when it's all situated. Last couple dishes coming out. Here's our scalloped potatoes. Fresh chives on top to really set this all off. All right, finishing up the pea salad, we're gonna add in our crunchy pancetta, the thinly sliced shallots that we saved from yesterday. Those go right in. On goes our warm bacon fat vinaigrette. This is it right here. Toss this together. I got some really sharp white cheddar here. We're just gonna do some big shavings all over the top. More black pepper.
That looks good.
I love
This looks good.
this salad.
Good AF.
Our baked orzo is out. I'm gonna shower this with more grated parm. I'm really curious to see how this came out. I'm worried it's gonna be a little on the dry side. So we're gonna be collecting some feedback and going from there. Then I'm gonna do some more lemon zest on top too. Lemon zest. Some more black pepper on top. Gorgeous. It does. All right, so the kids are outside doing a little egg hunt. Even though it's not really Easter, it's still fun to hunt eggs because, you know, we're pretending. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get our lemon meringue pie torched. Oof. Y'all know I love to burn stuff.
Don't burn this one here, so come on, don't choke. Don't choke. Don't burn it like Thanksgiving.
I want to like shut up.
Thanksgiving was bad.
That was so funny.
That was a flame.
It was hilarious.
I'm ready for a piece of this. Yay! Not bad.
You don't have it right.
No, I do.
All right, well, that's all I got for today. I'm gonna sit here and enjoy my pie. Thank you for tagging along. And hopefully this gave you some inspo for your Easter celebration, or even if you don't celebrate Easter, a springtime celebration, maybe some new recipes to try. And I will see you lovely people in the next one. Bye.